Should I applaud Dimps for an amazing balance patch, or should I spit on their feet for a shitty update? I'm genuinely conflicted on whether or not this update is worthy of praise or disgust. Maybe it's worthy of both.
Oh my god, first you shit on the flawless AI, then you dare to criticize Bandai and Dimps' alleged bad DLC practices, and now you have the nerve to say a free update is bad? Kill yourself, you entitled fuck!
Hold on a minute. I'm not saying this update is overall shit, but there are stuff that I want to talk about that I think are genuinely crap. So if you're an easily triggered snowflake who doesn't like me kicking Bandai off their imaginary pedestal, click off now. Now that they're gone, let's proceed to kick Bandai off that pedestal. The free content pack, not the balance patch that came with it, is miserably horseshit. All the new skills but Wild Hunt are unimpressive and gimmicky, and get this, you can't get all of the moves normally. You have to wait until the stupid TP Metal Shop is open to purchase them. So you can't use the skills released with the update on the day the update goes what the fuck? That doesn't even get into the new expert missions. I have one thing to say about them, and I need you to get real close for this one because I don't want you to miss a single detail. Are you ready? Fuck super armor. Remember that in Xenoverse 1? Yeah, Dimps thought to themselves, you know what? That wasn't annoying enough. Let's bring it back but make it so much worse. Now, not only does Broly and Janemba not stagger until they take a certain amount of damage, but while their armor is active, they take massively less damage. Fuck off with that garbage. The only one of the new expert missions that I kind of enjoyed despite how bad the super armor is the one with Janemba, but only because they introduced a new and interesting mechanic that poisons all of his attacks with an extreme movement penalty. It was surprisingly challenging. But fucking super armor? Fuck off! Anyway, that's not to say that the entire update is horrible. Like I said at the start of the video, I don't know if I can call this update the best or the worst because there's so much to call the worst, but there's also so much to call the best. Let's start talking about that balance patch. This was easily a fantastic patch. Before I talk about my absolute favorite bits of the update, let me touch on a few smaller parts of it. The Go-Go Gum Dragon Flash Bullet combo has been completely neutered thanks to Go-Go Gum now lasting a pitiful amount of time. The Absolute Zero God of Destruction's Anger combo is now supremely difficult to pull off because the frozen person can get out of it long before the attacker can activate God of Destruction's Anger. Most, if not all, of the blinding or immobilizing skills were made relatively easy to escape from, and many of the skills that weren't used much, like Kaioken Assault and the 2 key explosion moves, were made a lot more viable. Now let me get to the favorite parts of my update. Namely involving 4 skills that were in desperate need of a buff. Let's start with times 10 Kamehameha. The move was already strong, but it came with a heavy penalty. Its charge up time was abysmally long, even if you just tapped the super button. Now, however, tapping the button will bring out a weaker ki blast at about the same speed of Kaioken Kamehameha, while the charged attack remains at its normal duration. This is amazing, since it now means that you can effortlessly combo into the attack, and also have a super strong charged variant if you catch an immobile opponent. It should be known though, that even with the boost in damage that times 10 Kamehameha got from the patch, it's still slightly weaker than Kaioken Kamehameha, and it also takes 2 bars to use now. The next 2 skills, I am supremely happy that they were patched in the way that they were. Let's first mention Hell's Slash since the buff was pretty simple, but insanely effective. It got a flat damage buff, but let me show you just how hard it hits now. Now that's how hard an ultimate should hit. Now let's talk about Gigantic Meteor. When the first translation for the patch notes came out, we all thought that the move would have a shorter startup time. Now, that would have been nice, but the actual buff, I think, is still substantial. Now, the period in which you take damage from the move is much earlier than it used to be. Before the patch, Gigantic Meteor would explode at this point. But now, as soon as your character puts their hand forward before the explosion, if your opponent is caught by the initial damage ticks and can't escape, they're not going anywhere. And it's also nice to know that the move hits like a truck. But now I can finally talk about the single best thing about this patch if you main a Majin. Purification got a massive buff. The stamina drain was nerfed so heavily that it's almost unnoticeable now. As a reference, let me show you exactly how much you can do before a single stamina bar is gone. This is amazing. There were also a couple minor things that were changed, like the fact that you can recover from doing the teleporting kicks a lot faster and you can maneuver a lot faster with your boost dash, but I think we can all agree that the nerf to the stamina drain while in Purification is easily the most substantial part of this entire update. Well, I think that's all to cover with the patch, so what are my final thoughts about it? Well, I mean, if I thought it was a horrible update, which I don't, I'd probably bash my face into the door multiple times. And if I thought it was a fantastic update, which, again, I don't fully, I'd give Dimps a round of applause for doing something right for a change. So,